We have often heard that security is a people problem, and certainly security awareness and education is one of the most critical success factors for an information security program. We can understand that having this security awareness is going to help ensure the success of the technologies and the many other parts of our security program we use. This means we have to have and encourage knowledge amongst all of our staff of the various policies, risks, and their personal responsibilities in a security awareness program. What this actually does is equip them to help us protect our systems, but also it creates accountability so that now they are accountable for whether or not they have followed then the policies and procedures of the organization properly. One of the areas we have to address in our security awareness program is the huge risk of social engineering. Social engineering can be defined as manipulating people to do something they shouldn't do. There's a number of different ways that social engineering is then done these days. And one of them, of course, is threatening, creating a scene, same as a 2-year-old does when they have a temper tantrum. They try to intimidate their parents into doing something that the parents really knew they shouldn't have done. The other is name dropping. I was talking to Charlie, and Charlie said you could do this for me. Well, Charlie may know nothing about it, but the poor victim of the social engineering thinks, well, if Charlie said so, okay. Another is appealing to people's natural sense to be helpful. Appealing for help and saying, I'm trying to get this and I can't seem to get it to work, and could you help me out? And unfortunately, through all three of those types of social engineering, many people become victims. The fourth type is very common these days, and this is a phishing attack, a technical type of attack, where a person then socially engineers a person through the use of technology, whether or not it's a phishing email or whether or not it's passing around a USB, that claims to have a new great game on it or something, or downloading an app onto their phone. These are technical types of social engineering that open up back doors and disclose information to an attacker. The reality is, though, there's no technical cure for social engineering. The only effective cure for social engineering is, tell them again, awareness. A repeated, ongoing, engaging, and interesting security awareness program, so that we equip our people to be able to notice, detect if there's some type of a social engineering attack going on. In the end, the core message that has to come through a security awareness program is that security is everybody's job. We want to create a culture of security that everybody just naturally begins to know that when we do something in our company, we do it in a secure way. It's become a part of our culture, a part of our natural behaviors, that security is then, that's just a part of normal, everyday work. In order for this to work, we need senior management to attend and support security awareness training. The security awareness training is something that should be ongoing, at least once a year, to remind people and to keep them informed of new threats and what's happened over the past year. That the security program becomes something which is always top of mind for them as well. But the message in a security awareness course should be very different from senior management than it is for normal users. And normal users will get a different message than we give to IT developers and administrators. We tailor then a security awareness program to the audience that is going to receive it. Now, the advantages of a good awareness program means that our staff now has a security alertness. I like to use the example that a security awareness program is a lot like giving a young child a vaccination. When we give a young child a vaccination, we give them by that a sensitivity, so that if they're exposed to diphtheria or polio, that automatically their body will recognize it as a malicious type of an attack and be able to fight it off. And that's exactly what we're trying to do when we're doing security awareness sessions. We're trying to create a level of wariness, watchfulness, and alertness within our staff that they'll be able to immediately identify any type of malicious activity. They can then certainly pass on that message. In many cases, staff are going to be the first people to be aware that there's a problem. Somebody phones them or sends them an email, or even a coworker asks them for something that just doesn't taste right. The staff need to have that ability to taste when something just isn't quite right. And then, of course, know who to call, how to respond to and report that breach or suspicious activity. So what are some of the things we should address in our security awareness program? Well, obviously, everybody should know what our policies are. What are the policies of our organization, so at least they know the rules? We should make sure that people are familiar with our procedures on how to do something. We should give people an education on bad stuff, malware, so they're familiar with the different types of malware that are out there, and they're able to detect them and, of course, realize that this is not a good thing. We should definitely inform them on what is acceptable use. How can they use the corporation's network and systems? Can they do online shopping from their desk? We need to tell them what is acceptable use within our organization. But often in awareness sessions, we'll also give them good advice. How to choose a good password, for example, so they are better equipped. It's one thing that we can tell them, be secure, be secure, be secure. But that is a message which is lost if they don't know how to be secure. We can say, choose a good password. Well, how do I do that? Well, the point is to give them the tools and the information that they can see. Oh, yeah, it's actually easy to select a good password. And of course, these are some of the things we can address in a vibrant and alive security awareness program. When it comes to employee awareness, well, obviously that should start before they even get on our systems. The very first day of employment, they should know what our policies are when it comes to protecting and handling customer information. The way we bring the message across should come across in different ways, not the same old tired message time after time, but instead something which is alive and interesting, something which is varied. Posters are great, but after 3 days, posters become wallpaper. So vary the delivery techniques, and of course, make sure the message is getting across. Review the program to see, is it truly effective? Did people hear what we wanted them to hear from that program? And then follow it up with regular reminders, not just something which is a half hour out of once every year, but something which is a regular reminder and brings things in and just keeps the program interesting for them. What about when we deal with third parties? Contractors and guests come on site. We have to provide awareness training for our customers. If our customers are using our systems, our DMZ, for example, or DMZ for access, they should know what are precautions they should do not sharing their passwords and what would be a phishing attack that might appear to have come from us, for example. Make sure that any contractor is aware of our policies with things like, well, wireless, acceptable use, use of your own devices, for example. What makes a good awareness program? Well, first of all, who's the audience? Who are the different members and the different audience members groups we have? For example, managers, IT, users, customers, and so on. And then clearly know what is it, the message I want to get across. What do I want them to hear? At the end, if somebody went up and asked them, what did you hear? They should be able to say what that clear message was that I really wanted to get across to them. And how could I measure it? How do I know if this system or entire program was even successful? This is where I should have ways to come back and check and validate whether or not the program actually did get that message across. Find a good method of delivery. How can I deliver this in a way that's interesting, innovative, cost-effective, but also has impact? Looking at things such as social media, looking at leveraging the various technologies of today, and certainly make sure that the program is aligned then with the culture of the organization. If our business is very careful and conservative, obviously our security awareness program should support that type of an approach. Where if our organization is very free and open and takes risks, so also our security awareness program should have that same tone, so that at least is not incongruent then with the message that they're hearing from senior management.